DNVR Broncos live, coming to you from Studio I. C for Combine?
Yeah.
I for Indy.
Indianapolis.
Yes, that's where we are.
Yes, we are. Indianapolis.
Let's
Indiana.
Just give it around. Let's actually
Clap it up, baby.
Are we
Let's
trying to be
clap it
so
up.
loud that the Broncos Country tonight guys have to hear us? There we go.
We also are sitting next to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fuck these guys.
It's also kind of crazy. We kind of look like we're on the same team with them.
No, we don't.
Oh, wow.
Oh, sorry.
Come
Sorry.
on.
Why would you do that?
Let's just
Damn it.
mute his mic, Allie. There
No,
we go.
not
yeah.
yet.
Should
Yeah.
we?
It's not time for
How
that.
much does it cost to send him home just right now?
For him, it might be worth it.
Oh.
I have been so well behaved. I do have a whole list of
I don't know
nonsense
if I
planned for
agree with
today,
that.
though.
Oh, that's
No.
good.
Oh, where do we even start? Remember the rabbit with the balloon tied to it in the mural?
That was crazy.
I love this is the type of shit you take notes on.
Oh, there's plenty more.
Take notes in our meetings? No. Take notes
No.
on airport and travel?
Meetings.
Honestly, people complain about the
Nap
art
time.
in the Denver International Airport, but the animal cruelty art in Indianapolis is much worse.
Just bunnies with
Well-
balloons tied around them.
Okay, when you say it like animal cruelty, then I can't say what I was going to say.
Oh.
Serious
I
there.
interpreted it a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
It's how did we get here?
How did we?
How did
plane.
we
A plane.
get
We flew.
A plane.
A plane. We flew. What were they doing to the animal?
Flying.
They're
Cruel-
making it
cruel-
fly. Well, not
Cruelty.
no, not.
They were
I
doing
can't say. I can't
cruelty.
agree. I can't agree. Then, yeah.
How many balloons would it take to float a bunny?
It probably
We
depends
could
on.
test it on Zach and get the same result.
Oh, wow. You saying I have big ears or what?
No, it has nothing to do with your ears.
Oh my God! Speaking of big ears, one of the
Oh
flight
yes,
attendants.
yes,
that
yes,
the-
yes.
is that
I
the
know
word
where
we
you're
use?
going here.
She had a phone case.
Yes.
Yeah.
A furry phone case
I feel
that
like they
had
usually start the
long ass
nonsense
rabbit
later.
ears.
It's crazy.
I mean, they were like drooping
I would say, like,
down.
6 inches, so probably 4.
It was like when she pulled their phone out. It was like,
Yeah.
We were front row for that flight, and honestly, I got a behind-the-scenes look of a plane that I didn't want to see. Like, I heard all of the things that the flight attendants were talking about, like their boyfriends and their first kisses and those sorts of things.
They were talking about their first kisses.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were.
yeah,
They
yeah.
were. Because one flight attendant's about to go on a date, and
Yeah.
the girl was like, "It's not the guy that you had the first kiss with," and she was
Wait,
like,
it was
"Oh,
not.
no,
It was
no,
not.
floppy
no."
ears or the other
She-
girl had?
she was
Floppy ears is
first
going on
date.
the date. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yep. The
Also-
the pilot was out of the cockpit for a full 40 minutes.
He had to
Using
drop
the
a deuce.
restroom for most of
Like,
it.
I just
to
don't
drop
even
a
see
deuce.
that.
I didn't realize that kind of the security protocol for when a pilot's out is you just put the rolly cart in the
Yep.
middle. Maybe not the best.
Hey, we gotta work with what we have.
That's
I know.
true.
It has
It's true.
wheels, though. Like,
And-
that's not...
That's kind of how I approach this podcast. I'm like, I got to work with what I have here with Henry.
Also, okay, shut up with that. But also,
Shut
the
up.
lady... What did I say? I said shut up.
We're
The-
wasting too much time because I want to talk about
We are.
the Airbnb.
I've
I
got a
want
whole...
to talk about
no,
George
that's
Paton
number
and Sean Payton.
Well, yeah, we're gonna
Okay,
get to
that
that.
didn't
okay,
even
the
make the
boring
list, if
stuff.
I'm being honest. But the flight attendant, like when she's giving the instructions and like clipping the seatbelt, that sort of stuff, and it's right in front of you, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to look up and just like stare in the face when she's giving it. It's kind of uncomfortable.
No, that's a normal thing. When people talk to you and you look at them, that's normal
Yeah,
human society.
but what if they're
it's-
doing
they're, like,
performance art?
acting? Because she wasn't even the one who was talking. She was just like clipping or like pulling the thing
Yeah.
or like that sort of stuff. And I was like, this is uncomfortable.
I was
you don't
very-
like mime shows.
No,
is what
my
I'm
mom
understanding.
we used to go to a lot of plays up in Montana, and they
have
had the
those?
full Monty. It's a weird thing. We don't have time. The list is too long. But the full Monty, you know, it ends with like the big reveal.
We don't know
where it's
what
like,
that is.
Full Monty with the
It's a
big
stripping-
reveal.
yeah, everybody
that's all
knows.
I need to hear.
It's a stripping thing. Yes, and so again, we're talking floppy. That's floppy.
Wait,
but you
What?
wow.
But we were freaking front row.
You went to a dick show with your mom?
Well, the lighting's good, and so it turns out like you can barely.
I thought he was gonna say no. No, he was just justifying
He's
it.
like, you know the Chippendales?
well, it's more artful, but it's yeah. It felt a lot like that, and I didn't like it. Is the point?
Wow.
wow.
Front row, not good.
Yeah. At least there wasn't the big reveal at the end.
No,
Well,
no.
okay. So then we get off the plane. We see the flying bunnies.
Mm-hmm.
We make it back to the Airbnb, which is an interesting spot.
It is.
It's an interesting spot.
In many ways.
Now, let me set the scene here because as All City has grown,
Yep.
there's more people.
Yep.
Need more rooms.
What are you wrong? 12 deep?
I think we're even deeper than that.
Oof.
Yeah.
I think we're 14.
14.
Yeah, if you think of the full Monty, I think it's 14.
Floppy.
And some people.
Wouldn't that add even more?
Some people are a little more divas than we were used to in the OG DNVR days. Lawrence, I'm looking at you. He's helping. He's helping produce. Like, I have to. I don't even know if I've ever even told this story. I covered an entire NFL season where my strategy for where I was staying that night when I got to the stadium was just asking other media if they had
savage.
double queen room. And usually the answer was yes, and like they could have easily just lied to me and said no, and I never. But like people would be like, "Yeah, dude, you can stay." Like I feel like I was like 23. They were like, "Oh, like he's grinding. That's cool."
Yeah.
Now everyone wants their own room. So
picky of us.
I mean I get it. So that's why I went and tried to find the Airbnb with the most rooms, and I'm convinced I have found the Airbnb with the most rooms ever.
You have. Yes.
So we got this historic mansion, I would call it.
Yeah.
And
a way to call it.
as it turns out, this is Henry knows the story better than I.
Oh,
but this
God,
is where Raggedy Ann was conceptualized.
Yeah, so it's like a Raggedy Ann historic site, basically. So across the street is where the Raggedy Ann guy who came up with Raggedy Ann, Raggedy Ann, across the street is where he lived. This was like a bakery / like shop. Again, we're talking like 1800s, 1880 type stuff. And so it's like, oh, they bake things. You also buy this and that. Spent a lot of time there, inspired the Raggedy Ann concept. And so this became the place where you remember Raggedy Ann. So there's like Raggedy Ann rooms, there's Raggedy Ann paintings, Raggedy Ann memorabilia, Raggedy Ann books. There's just all sorts of Raggedy Ann stuff everywhere.
It's really creepy.
But what is
yeah.
it? Just a doll?
Yeah, just like an OG doll.
Wouldn't the OG doll just be a doll?
I mean, that's basically what it was. I mean, this is like
so
the
Raggedy
doll.
Ann is the doll.
It's like the first.
It's like a top 3 doll of all time.
I think it was like the first mass-produced doll.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where it's like, oh, Raggedy Ann, this is like the doll. Like that's why
the way you think of like Tickle Me Elmo.
I don't think of Tickle Me Elmo.
I think you think about Tickle Me Elmo a lot.
No, I've never heard it. Are you talking about you're going to tickle me at St. Elmo's tonight? No. Okay, no.
But yeah.
Oh my!
But that's why it's like pictures like JFK, like daughter in one hand,
We're
Raggedy
not
Ann doll in the other, and so like they're walking down. It's all sorts of Raggedy Ann stuff. As we obviously you show up and that's freaking creepy, like it's all these old ass dolls. But then as you progress and we learn more about the history of Raggedy Ann, getting to the point where the movie Annabelle, the doll Annabelle, that was a Raggedy Ann doll, and there's actually the same version of the doll
Not fun.
in the Raggedy Ann room.
Yeah, not fun. I was having fun. Like I don't get scared by this type of shit. And then Braggs, who does the CHGO Bear Show, sent an article in our Slack channel that says the dark history of Raggedy Ann.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, LOL, this would be funny. And then I clicked it. I made it about 3 paragraphs where I was like, I got to fucking stop. This is going to ruin my night. This is definitely going to ruin my night if I keep reading
it and putting it in the middle of the floor as well.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Woke up.
Well, did anyone own up to that?
Yeah, Nick.
Oh, wow. He would have been low on my list.
I would have guessed Shane would have been my number one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would have thought
Shane's terrified of it.
I would have thought Shane would
scared.
do it, and then he also posted the picture. being like, Who did this?
Right. Of course, it wasn't me. I posted the picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I never realized how influential Raggedy Ann was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't.
All right, I'm sharing it for anyone who might be scared. Just be ready.
Yeah, this is what.
All right.
Wait, are you sharing the article?
The
or-
article.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
The article is so bad.
I mean, if you've seen the movie Annabelle, like
That's
it turns out they just couldn't use a Raggedy Ann doll because obviously, like Raggedy Ann, the company would sue the hell out of them for saying,
What
like,
is
yeah,
Annabelle,
this is
horror
haunted.
movie?
Raggedy Annabelle.
It's exactly. It's like the most famous haunted doll. Like apparently the story in the movie is, and the most famous exorcists and
Zach can't handle this information.
well, basically what happens
Are you
is
calling me stupid?
there's
No, I'm saying you're gonna be scared.
That's true.
a priest.
I have my own room. That is
I know.
scary.
You know,
You do have your own.
we
room.
share a wall.
Kind
though.
of we share a wall and hotels
Yeah, the
Like
door.
the connectors.
shared door. Yeah, connecting door.
I'm showing now the just image of the doll just in the middle of the.
Basically, some weird stuff happened. A priest says, like, yeah, there's a dead child who has inhabited this doll.
I don't think we have to go into details of this.
I mean, the viewers want
Alex
to know.
here in the comments says,
I thought we were
you just don't want to hear.
DNVR travels. It's true.
What'd he say?
Alex said, wild things happen when DNVR travels.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the end, we sacrificed. Everyone needs their own room. Well, guess what? We get the Raggedy Ann house.
Yeah. Which is, I actually didn't. I thought the same thing. I was like, this would have been a great time to be sharing a room. Like, there is a bunk bed room, and I might invite somebody. Or just, like, go lay down and see if anybody shows up.
Yeah, that's what Nick
Hopefully
said.
not
He was
Raggedy
like,
Ann.
it was actually nice sharing a room with Carm. I felt safer.
Well, no, he's a little
we only got
sketchy,
a
too.
nap in last night.
True.
Yeah,
Like
that's
3
true.
hours.
Yeah.
3 or 4 hours.
I said this to you guys when we were upstairs. I was like, it was really discouraging when I had to set a 7:30 alarm at 3 a.m.
Yeah. That felt really
Tonight's-
bad.
Kind of our own fault, doesn't it?
Tonight's going to be worse.
Yeah.
Shots.
I had this weird thing.
Well, the PHNX guys don't like that
Oh,
joke.
yeah,
Not a big
They're a little
fan of that one.
sensitive.
A
They're
little.
sensitive about
They are
the,
very sensitive
They are.
about it.
Listening,
Yeah.
which is good.
They want to fire off the Gannon cannons.
They did.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Should we
Do you
refer
think
to
that's
my
what he
list?
says after taking some
Football.
shots?
Ooh.
We're here for
No.
football? No way.
Can I have one more nonsense question real quick?
Yep.
Combine.
More
We're at the
nonsense.
combine. Take me right now.
Don't
I
say
go
it.
run the 40-yard
Oh,
dash.
okay.
How fast do I have to run for me to get drafted?
Oh, God.
4-1-5.
4-1-5 does it?
No.
Yeah.
Sub 4.4, he's getting picked.
You
No.
think so?
With zero
Actually, no.
football
At this
is no.
build.
Sub 4.3.
No, he's not. At this build, you
At
got to
this-
take him for what he is.
This is me.
The fact that he could run 4.3 at this build would be a positive for scouts.
No, it'd have to be record-breaking, world-breaking. He'd have to be the fastest man alive for him to get drafted.
I have
way.
pretty good hands.
He runs 4.27, he's getting picked.
No, he's not.
5'9", 180.
He also has a cannon. You forget this about Henry.
I do have a cannon.
Of an
People
arm?
He
forget.
could throw this ball to that wall right now.
Could you really?
Camera's pointing
me.
this way, so
Show
it's
me. Show me. Do it right now.
No. Henry.
Trying to get him
Okay.
out of here,
Okay.
right? I thought that's what we were doing.
That would get me booted.
Trying to get him kicked out.
Kyle brought up. Great comment. Since we're 20 minutes in and no one has said it, this pod is brought to you by.
Wow.
You're gonna get yelled at.
I was sure he was going to say, I'm not watching anymore. You haven't mentioned the Broncos.
This podcast is brought to you by Raggedy Ann.
no.
Our number one supporter.
Oh, no.
That's got to be public domain by now.
DraftKings
We should make a
Sportsbook.
Raggedy Ann shirt.
DraftKings Sportsbook is the presenting sponsor of this podcast. DraftKings, you'll understand that there was other things that were like really pressing that we had to get to.
A little scary.
A little creepy.
Someone said protect Zach, please.
Yeah, that's
you.
that's
Thank
why we put him right in the room
Yep.
next to us.
Yep.
I was like 3-on-1, we should be able to win.
It's very true. Yeah, against a doll.
DraftKings Sportsbook is more. It's kind of like it's like $7 billion on one. Like all of us
Whoa.
are working together to beat the sportsbook, which is weird because we love DraftKings, but
do.
we want to beat it.
We want them to lose.
It
Yeah.
is weird.
And the way to beat the sportsbook is to bet on Nikola Jokic over and over and over and over and over again. And that's
Yep.
what I do. That's all I do.
And it works.
It works every time. Actually, not every time. It didn't work against the Grizzlies. But,
There was that one weird game.
yeah,
They were bad.
and I just kept doubling down.
Yeah.
But then I did something that I don't recommend, which is I took all the money that I lost on the Nuggets, bet it on the Avs, but it worked. It worked that night. So anyways, get over to DraftKings Sportsbook.
And if you want to win, Ryan, you talk about winning. If you want to win March Madness, we have paired up with our friends over at Run Your Pool.
We go run your pool tonight.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That wasn't my singing voice. Don't worry. Don't be horrified. I wasn't trying.
Yeah, he wasn't trying.
But anyways.
When he tries, he's like a mix of Fergie and Jesus.
Yeah. See, there we go. Okay.
I would
Jesus.
listen.
Thank
If you dropped an album, I would listen.
You think I can
What
get a
is
Super Bowl
happening on this
halftime show?
I do.
For sure.
Or a March Madness halftime show. So if you want to get in on the madness, we're giving away prizes.
Ooh.
$300 cash prize and a $75 DNVR locker gift card for
Holy
the first
shit.
place. Second place, $150 cash prize. Third place, $50 cash prize. So we're going to hand out money, and you have to pay nothing. Free to enter. So you're going to be entering.
You literally lose money if you don't enter.
It's very true. You're going to be entering probably other ones. Do this one. Make sure to get in. And the deadline to fill out brackets March 16th, right before the first game start at 12:15 Mountain Time. So we'll know the brackets in 2 weeks from now. Then you have a few days to fill them out. Go to play.runyourpool.com/DNVR to get your picks in when the brackets are live. So they'll open up that Sunday. Then you have until Thursday to fill them out. You don't have to worry about the 2 play-in games. So runyourpool.com or play.runyourpool.com/DNVR to get in. We're going to be doing it. Join us.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm definitely going to have to get in this year. I didn't actually fill one out, but with those prizes, I've got to do it.
Yeah. You're going to have to. And you're also going to have to wear some Shady Rays.
Oh, Shady Rays. Those are sunglasses for those who don't know. But the sun could come from all sorts of different places. I guess it always originates from the sun, but it will bounce off
Windows,
for example.
diamonds,
Mirrors, diamonds. The
Dolls?
snow in Colorado.
Yeah, good.
Doll. Yeah, that'd be
like a
kind of freaky.
shiny clay doll.
Yeah.
Oof.
Also, they're polarized. So if it's bouncing off water, it makes the water look really cool when you kind of like turn your head. Have you guys been doing that with your sunglasses? Like you kind of like look at a puddle or something?
Yeah, this reminds me of that conversation about hallucinogenics we were having yesterday.
Very similar, actually. But yeah, so the Shady Rays, they're awesome sunglasses. They come at a great price. They've got all the styles that you could be looking for. If you lose them or break them, they will give you a new pair for free. And if you pick them up, then you can get buy one, get one. Or like, you get 2 for 50% off.
What code?
DNVR.
Nice.
Shot in the dark. Liked my odds. But yeah, Park Meadows Mall, there's a store. You can also order online if you go to shadyrays.com. and definitely do that.
Rays. They're pretty dirty, but I'll
Not a lot of
Wow,
sun.
calling Allie out. Whoa, look
what do you
at
think,
you.
boys?
Wait. They're black
and gold.
and gold.
I know.
Wow.
I'll pretty much
Of
wear
course.
anything
Any
if it's black and
surprise?
gold.
True. No surprise at all.
I just gave myself a visual of me in a black and gold Speedo.
Oh,
Wow. You were picturing
great.
Wow.
something flopping out, I see.
Oh, my God.
Word of the day, floppy.
All remote shows have to have a parental advisory.
I love that, like, Lawrence is tuning in. He
probably
probably hasn't
never
watched
seen
very
it.
many of
He's
these
not
shows.
used
He's like, this is what they do? This is the
This is the starship of our
the most downloaded podcast on the network.
Okay, we did get some people asking if we could finally talk some
Yes,
football.
we are
Really?
talking football.
I
Should we have a quick
timestamped
discussion?
This is
Sidebar?
complete nonsense.
No,
Should we do
sidebars.
it?
A sidebar
Oh.
about Broncos.
Should we talk about the Broncos?
Yes.
Is the topic of the sidebar.
Yes, we should.
We talked to Sean
Fine.
Payton.
We did.
And George Payton
Yeah.
today.
So bad.
You've just been craving that, huh?
Well, we were throwing it
Keep
earlier.
going. Just
to
keep talking.
rub it.
Stop.
That's Don't
I
be
stopped
weird.
before you told me. Okay, so we talked to Sean Payton, George Paton this morning here in Indianapolis. They actually were the first 2 people to kick off the combine. Sean Payton showed up 7 minutes early. This is not the Nathaniel Hackett era where press conferences would run 15, 30 minutes late. 7 minutes early. And we found out a lot. Offense, defensive side of the ball. Let's start and just compile this all on defensive side.
Yep.
Then we'll talk about the offense. So defensive side, guys, we really found out this is the first time that we've talked to Sean Payton since he's put together this coaching staff, since he decided to bring Vance Joseph back. And I thought that was kind of the story of the day, was how he came to this decision.
Yeah, and he was honest.
He was.
And when I say that, I mean that he basically told us that Vance Joseph was not his first option. In fact, Vic Fangio was his first option, and I felt that was about as clear as day.
Yep.
Couldn't have been more clear. He blamed us a little bit.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll take that. But the thing is, like, if Vic wouldn't do it because he was a former head coach here, why would Vance? Because Vic was actually more liked than Vance.
Especially in that defensive coordinator role. I completely agree. And the way Sean made it sound was that it was just too recent.
Yep.
Vance has been out of here for 4 years. Vic, not even 18 months.
It doesn't matter, but He did. He said, I tried. I twisted his arm. I did everything I could, but in the end, it was just a little too fresh, I guess, which is a bummer. I don't think it should have mattered because everything that I said about Vance and why he shouldn't want this job wasn't really true of Vic. People, when Vic Fangio was fired from the head coach, people were like, couldn't we just demote him to defensive coordinator? And it was like, no, that probably wouldn't work. But he literally said that was the plan.
Yep.
The plan was to get Vic Fangio. Basically, kind of said if I went anywhere else but here, he'd be with me.
Yep, it would have been a hell of a plan too. That would have been the home run staff that we expected from Vance Joseph and or from Sean Payton. And if he would have made that move, then I think we all would have given him an A for the coaching staff. Instead, ends up with 2 C's and a B for the coaching staff, but just that close.
Yeah, and I would have been thinking it doesn't really matter who else is on the staff.
Yep.
And it does in like little ways, but I would have been like, well, they have an all-timer offensive coordinator and an all-timer defensive coordinator.
And then an all-timer guy
Mike
assisting
Westhoff.
with special teams.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you're just like, fill in the blanks with whoever else you want.
Yep.
You have Hall of Famers all over the place.
And if it doesn't work, the Broncos are unfixable, and that's just the world we live in. So I guess there's
Sell
that
the franchise?
Yeah.
Well, no, they just did that.
Do it again?
Move.
That's
No,
don't even
that's
say.
the
Come
Johnny
on.
Bowl.
No. Move them out to DIA. Come on. What do you think I was
With
going to
that
say?
traffic, hell no.
Move them to Indian No Place, as our pilot said yesterday.
Why would you
Making
take a shot? At least half of those people had to live here,
Yeah,
right?
the guy next to
know.
me, Henry, was on one side, another guy on the other side. It was like, I'm going home. So excited to be back in Indianapolis. And then literally 2 seconds later, the pilot said that.
Going to Indian, no place.
Like I felt bad for that guy the whole time, like because he came on with great energy. He
did.
wanted to chat, and I didn't
yeah.
expect that either. Like he was
No.
Harley Davidson shirt, like older type of guy.
Back to the Broncos.
Okay. They also said that they don't really blame Vance. Both George Paton and Sean Payton, both the Paytons, double Payton. They were saying, sure, the results aren't great, but look at how he held up in that horrible situation. And they both said it separately, which was really interesting. Kind of just bashing the Cardinals, which old topic of contention. They're still not listening, which is probably for the best. But it was interesting just to hear from their words that they also thought that he was kind of set up for failure there.
Yeah, he was dealt a bad hand out there in Arizona is what they think. And so they probably view this quote-unquote bad hand that they think.
Now he's
and
listening.
then they pair it,
There it is.
with what he was able to do, 2 top 12 defenses in the NFL in 2 of the years, and they kind of just overlook the other 2 years.
Yeah.
In a very basic sense. And one of the other things that they also said, and I believe this was George, Vance sat in on meetings or sat with them and interviewed with them all day, the day that he was in, and they put him on the board. You know how at the Combine they're going to be putting players on the board? They put Vance on the board, and they broke down film with him, and they really like the aggressive nature that Vance is going to bring and think that the pieces on defense, Randy Gregory, DJ Jones, maybe Dre'Mont Jones, who we're going to talk about in a second, really fit in well with what he's got.
And they also said that the 2 holdover assistants on the defensive side of the ball sat in on those second round of interviews as well, which is kind of shocking to me. So that's Marcus Dixon, the defensive line coach who joined the staff last year. He's 38. And then 31-year-old Christian Parker. No, 28. He's 28, isn't he? No,
That's Davis
31.
Webb.
That's Davis Webb. He's 31.
Yep.
Thank God, because I wrote 31 in the story, and I just had a panic attack. But yeah, so 31. I was right. Defensive backs coach who interviewed for the position, they were sitting in on the second round of interviews, which I thought was kind of fascinating. It's probably just to be like, oh, so what do you think of this guy, that guy? But
yeah,
still.
well, and the reason why it's not as shocking to me is because about 10 days before we found out that Vance was going to be the defensive coordinator, a report came out and said no matter who the defensive coordinator is, Sean Payton and the Broncos have made it clear that these 2 guys are going to be back.
Probably made it clear by having them sit in on the interviews.
That's true.
Very quick sidebar. Henry, how long have you had that quarter zip?
Wow, calling me out.
Wow, that would be
2nd grade?
128 time zones, about 23 hours.
Okay,
Oh,
all right.
wow.
I was really hoping you said a long time because you still have the little plastic thing that the tag is attached to. It's like in your armpit.
An armpit?
Yep. There it is. There it is. Oh, found it.
Oh.
I was really hoping you were going to be like, I've had it a couple years. I was like, wow, you've been wearing that little tag. You're not going to be able to get it out. It's just.
I think, you got to get it from the inside.
Yeah.
I'll just walk around like this all day.
I think we might go to St. Elmo's right after this.
Nice to meet you. How are you doing over there?
Whose hand are you going to be shaking at St. Elmo's? The shrimp?
I'll shake any hand. Also, I'll probably use the right hand unless somebody. There's really nobody.
You are the
else
one
in
to
NFL
do it with
without
your
the-
left hand.
I kind of want to, actually.
You're swinging things around.
Okay.
Better than a pit stain.
I don't love this. I pretty
Wait.
much never.
This or
Well, I don't love that either.
Either, yeah.
I don't really ever love when someone gets told that this is how it's going to be.
Forced on him.
Yeah, because sure, in the end, it's Sean Payton's call, right?
Right.
And he's going to assemble his staff. But I at least want to hear out Vance Joseph before I tell him these guys are your coaches. I want to hear, hey, who would you like for this job?
Yeah.
And then I want to say, okay, we'll definitely talk to those guys. Just so you know, we have two really impressive up-and-coming coaches in the building. Would love for you to meet with them. And you can kind of usher him in a direction. But having someone's future employees, for lack of a better term, sit in on their interview is odd.
And you know what it kind of reminds me of is Zach Stevens was kind of forced on Vic Fangio when he came here, forced on Nathaniel Hackett. Now, not necessarily forced, but very, very highly regarded. And then those coaches accepted them or weren't really given an opportunity. And Sean Payton did have that opportunity to say bye to Zach Stevens, and he chose to do that, yet maybe he didn't give that exact same opportunity to Vance.
Yeah.
This is also, though, Sean Payton's staff. And he said, I didn't hire a head coach of special teams and a head coach of defense. Everybody has their job, and I'm going to be involved in the defense and the special teams. Now, I enjoy the offense more is how he put it. And I was like, I wish he had said I'm best at the offense, and that's why I do it. But he did say that. And so it is, I think, important to remember, it's his staff. He's not just giving free reign to those other guys.
Yeah.
Also,
That sounds good.
it does sound good. But also, I think, what if we put it in player terms? It's okay, Sean Payton, you're coming to the Broncos. You got to keep,
Russell Wilson.
No, let's not go down that road. But if they look at Christian Parker, who's a young up-and-comer, and say, he's the Pat Surtain equivalent, and say, you got to keep Pat Surtain around. You're not trading him.
Who's telling him that? Because this is Sean Payton that's coming in.
Probably nobody. But what if Sean
Greg Penner
Payton,
did text him, we found out.
He knows how
Not
to
about
text.
this.
He likes the way the staff is shaking out.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know. It's a thought to throw shit against the wall.
My goodness, Ryan Green with the commentary in the background here.
We should
He's
just
a
have
jokester.
Ryan Green
All he
on
did
mic.
was shaking out. He likes the way it's shaking out.
Wow. Floppy.
Okay, so something else with the defensive side of the ball and coaching staff. Matt Patricia
Yes.
might still join the staff. Do you like it?
No?
No.
I agree. I'm just out on Matt Patricia.
I'm in.
Roller coaster heading.
At this roll, yeah, seriously, he's gonna be all in on him tomorrow. I like it. Add a smart guy to the staff, and especially a position where you can give him as much influence as you want or as little influence as you want. And if you bring Matt Patricia in and Sean Payton gives him so much power and he fails, well, that's completely on Sean. If he brings him in and realizes this guy's a kook, he only works with the Patriots, then take all of his power away, and then you can move on from him after a year.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like is just he has a really bad reputation with players. That works in New England when, Bill Belichick is dropping the hammer on everyone, and it's this big, disciplinary and military, environment. That being said, maybe he's just defensive analyst. He's helping with the game plan. Cool. That's fine with me. Also, Ian Rappaport did a whole thing about how this really makes sense, which just tells me this is happening. So,
yeah. And the fact that they're talking later this week, I think you're right. It's a good call. So I'm glad I was right about that. It looking good. Well, I guess we don't know that.
we'll find out.
Yeah.
I think we're done
Hank's
with
gonna be
staff,
all about this move.
staff updates.
Yes, we're all done with staff updates, and that was my biggest takeaway. So let's hit some of these other things. Alex Singleton.
Let's go.
Our guy, friend of the
program.
Alex Singleton. You saw him
at the airport.
And we talked about him
a lot
today with George Paton.
George Paton. Those legs are getting harder and harder.
Would you like to participate? Anyways,
participate.
Alex.
You want me to ask myself a question?
Alex Singleton, quote, he's a baller.
He's a baller.
He's a baller.
Yeah. That's a sick quote.
Yeah, it is.
I thought I had.
Nobody's ever called me a baller.
Damn. We'll change
I
that
said
tonight.
you had a hose.
Whoa.
Your arm.
My arm?
Goodness.
Whoa.
That is not the first thing that came to mind.
That's on you guys. That's on you guys.
No. When you call something a hose, that never refers to an arm.
I've only
talked.
Yeah, no.
Have you ever talked about football?
Yeah, actually, famously, yeah.
Famously.
Yeah, no, it's a thing we do for 20,000 people every
a guy
day.
having a hose in football means he has a great arm.
I mean, anytime somebody says he has a hose, I'm going to think penis first. If we're just going to be direct about it, want me to speak around it? I'm going to say, his is what you're talking about. Is that better?
That's on you guys.
I said the word.
Okay, you have a cannon. Is that okay?
Of course.
All right.
Nobody's thinking
Alex Singleton.
oh, Josh Allen's rolling a cannon around. Real Civil War guy. No.
Shut up.
It's so clear.
Alex Singleton. That's one of those ones where I was like, man, we like Alex Singleton.
Yep.
I wanted to text him and be like, damn,
Yep.
dude, George Paton just said you're a baller.
Yep. And that he wants him back.
Yeah.
Pay him. I mean, we talked about this. I think we
Feels like this is an easy snap. Let's
because
go.
Alex wants to be back. It's just about making sure the money's right and just the position he plays. I don't think Alex expects to get $20 million, $10 million, $7 million. So we'll I just think this is one that gets done before he hits the open market.
3 for 15,
Boom.
10 guaranteed.
Easy. Or just the Josie Jewell contract. Essentially that contract you just said, but for 2 years.
Yep, and Josie's expires after next year, which gives you some flexibility too. The one kind of downside is just the new scheme, so much man coverage. A true cover linebacker could be a valuable piece. Now, the flip side of that is that the Vance Joseph defense, a lot like what the Patriots do if Matt Patricia was here, they find ways to kind of cheat up front so that they can get to their sub-packages more and sneak extra DBs on the field. So if you're finding a way to get an extra DB on there to cover a tight end, there's ways to work around it, and for 2 downs, it makes a lot of sense.
Very fair.
I'm in on Alex Singleton, to be clear.
Yes.
I think everyone is.
I think we all are. Okay.
But really quick, I was in the first 15 minutes I was at the airport yesterday, I saw 2 Denver professional athletes.
Wow. Who's the other? Can you name drop?
Alex Singleton in the parking garage.
Okay.
He was coming back from
How much
TJ Edwards'
how much did his
wedding
car
in
weigh?
Cabo.
How much does car weigh?
I would have no idea.
Come on. A single ton.
You guys are asking me to fill in these blanks.
Fill in the blanks.
And then right after that, in the security line, I saw Denver Nuggets legend Jack White.
Wow.
Oh, probably got sent down again.
Yep.
Not that Jack White, to be clear to anybody out there.
Yes, and also not a Nuggets legend.
Yeah.
Just,
I mean, honestly,
Just someone that's played on the team.
if he
he's on the team currently.
played the national anthem.
I thought you said he was sent down.
Well, yeah. Now he's probably on a 2-way contract.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He goes back and forth from Denver to Grand Rapids.
What a
Will
life.
Dre'Mont Jones be getting on an airplane, and will you be seeing him soon? Because
Not
we found
here,
out today
probably.
that George Paton has been talking with Dre'Mont Jones, and they've had very positive talks, according to George Paton, about Dre'Mont Jones' future here in town.
Feels good. Feels good hearing him say that. A lot we basically, you come to the combine and you're just tasked with reading between the lines of everything someone says. Like Bears GM says, what did he say about Justin Fields? Or no, who was the for now?
The GM, yeah. He's like,
I think it was just to the media.
Yeah, so they asked him, is Justin Fields going to be your quarterback next year? And he said, we think he's going to be our starting quarterback right now.
Yeah.
It's like
Ryan,
just
so
Ryan
you
and
have to
I have said
take
this.
that stuff.
Oh, anytime you get hit with the right now or the for now, it's a kiss of death.
It is.
And it could be just like, Texans, you
It
want this
never
number 1
is.
pick, then
Never is,
you're going to have to
Henry.
pay more
Well,
because
it could be
we're
a
willing to
smokescreen.
take Bryce Young.
It could be smokescreen, but
be.
that's what we're tasked with.
I would
so
vote for drama.
Everything he said about Dre'Mont Jones, reading between those lines, that feels like something they want to get done. They're trying to get done. He could have said, like, yeah, we really like Dre'Mont. It's all about getting on the same page with him and his representatives. That would have been like, okay, that sounds like it's going to be too expensive.
Yeah, and reading previously between the lines from a lot of the Dalton Reisner stuff, that's what that sounds like. Where it's like, sure, maybe, but it's kind of trending the other direction.
Yep.
Although, let me change your mind about that, because there's kind of been two things that have come out. Mike Kliss put out right after we talked to George Paton that they're not expected to put the franchise tag on him. Not a shocker to us at all. I mean, that's going to be almost $20 million.
Tagged,
Yeah, exactly. But our friend right across the way from us, Benjamin Albright, said George Paton indicated to us today in our exclusive interview that Dre'Mont Jones was going to hit the market.
Probably bullshit if he tweeted it.
Oh, is Ben coming over to beat you up right now? Wow.
He's trying to do a show.
I know. This is actually pretty terrible.
So distracting.
Not just a show, an interview with our good friend BK.
Wow.
So with that, though, that tells me that, of course, they want him back. Dre'Mont Jones is a good player. Every team wants Dre'Mont Jones, but are they going to be able to get him down in the next 2 weeks before free agency starts from $15 million to $10 million, or are they going to take the gamble and say, man, you think you're worth too much? We'll come back and try to get you once you see your price.
Can you reread the report?
No, it's gone.
Oh.
Imagine,
what was
though,
the idea of it?
Imagine for a minute that you could get Dre'Mont 5 years, $10 million a year, give him some guarantees, you lock him up through his prime. That'd be so sick.
It would. It'd be huge.
Here we go. George Paton indicated to us today in our exclusive interview that Dre'Mont was going to hit the market.
Wow.
Was going to hit the market.
That is definitely, that makes me feel bad. Remember I was saying I felt good earlier?
Yeah, that's why I thought I would be able to change your mind.
Yeah, my mind's changed.
Wow.
Looks like the Bears want him.
Feel less good.
Oh, Bears. Oh, they got all the money in the world, yeah.
Oh, they do.
Enjoy Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, he'd be their first good player.
Oh, wow, yeah. Well, they have a good running back, according to Henry.
David Montgomery.
Yes.
Justin Fields. According to Henry.
I'm a Justin Fields guy.
Our
one of the top running backs in the league.
Bears correspondents. He's like the Eric Weedham of the Bears group for DNVR reference.
I hope no one ever called. No, I'm just kidding.
Why? In the sense of he was like, I am about to jump over this table and hurt you for saying.
I got some threats.
Oh, yeah.
I got
Just
some
like
threats.
Eric would react if someone talked
Look, there's a
badly
guy in
about
a
Nikola
Bears
Jokic.
hoodie up there that's just staring down Henry
Wow.
from that window upstairs.
Oh.
He looked
Oh,
away.
Wow.
Wow.
That's the GM.
No, it's not.
No,
It's
we
not the
actually
GM.
talked to the GM.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was.
Yeah,
You just flinched.
First, Alex Singleton
anyways,
tackling
I really
you.
like
Now
Justin
this.
Fields. That was mean.
I know.
Also, would be cool if we had the Broncos GM here and we could say in our exclusive interview with George Paton, he indicated
That
this,
would be
that,
cool.
or the other thing. He indicated that lakes are better than rivers or something like that.
What odds could you get on George Paton saying that lakes are better than rivers on this podcast?
On this podcast is tough. That guy just keeps staring at Henry.
And he is wearing a Bears logo.
Yeah, he is.
No,
I feel like
he just looks lost,
tasked
man.
with taking you out.
I don't think I deserve it.
On a date.
Oh. I would turn it down.
It would be a lot because we can't
You're a
afford
hook man.
to get George Paton on this podcast.
Oh, I see what you're saying there.
Well, let's just say he talked to two places. It was KOA and 9 News.
You want to be able to afford it, Ryan? You know how you can?
DraftKings?
DraftKings Sportsbook, you placed the right bet. You think that the number 1 overall pick is going to be a quarterback? You can do that. Bryce Young minus 165 could be the new head coach of
I would be shocked.
not the head coach.
I would be shocked.
Quarterback. That would
Wonder
throw
what
a
kind
real
of odds you
curve.
could get on that.
Probably a lot better than minus 165.
Probably.
You think Stroud's going 1 overall plus 400? Will the first quarterback be selected? They have so many draft props already, and we are 2 months out from the draft. They'll probably even have some Broncos draft odds, even though they're not picking until the 3rd round, which, by the way, we found out from George Paton. The Broncos have the
sweet spot.
The Broncos have the
sweet spot.
2 best picks in the draft, essentially what George Paton said today, and we'll dive into that. But first, you got to check out our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. You think that the Nuggets are going to win the championship? Bet on them to win it all. You think the Broncos are going to win? Guess what the odds are right now?
I don't.
Plus
over at DraftKings.
3,000.
Boom. Hit it. Plus 3,000.
Wow.
So check out our friends
Really
over at
good at this
DraftKings
game.
Sportsbook. March Madness coming up. Make sure to get in over there. Use that promo code DNVR when you sign up. Eligibility and restrictions apply. See our show notes for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Void in Ohio.
Okay. What else, Henry?
And also,
Henry, you got to tell our friends
I'll do
about
it.
the good folks at Backus and Schenker.
whoa.
Backus and Schenker.
Open-ended.
They have your back.
What happens if you get killed by a doll that comes to life? Can you sue the doll?
You probably have to sue the company.
Oh.
Be in Colorado, though.
You would have to be in. So we are screwed right now.
Yeah, we are unprotected.
We're in the danger zone.
Wow.
Anyways, Backus and Schenker has your back.
In case you get
shanked
in
In
the
case
back.
you get shanked by this dude in the window.
Yeah, he is
Window
eyeing you
guy.
down, but you're just going to have to run back to Colorado really quick and have him chase you there so Backus and Schenker can protect you, because Backus and Schenker takes care of Colorado families. They have won over $1 billion for their clients. And the best part is you don't have to pay them anything until you win your case. So if you want Backus and Schenker to have your back, hit them up. Get a free consultation on your case, and then don't pay anything until they win. That's how confident they are that they're going to win for you. Check out our friends over at Backus and Schenker.
Okay, we ended that last segment with a little bit of down news about Dre'Mont potentially. Guys want some good news?
Yeah.
Good news coming your way. Randy Gregory expected to be fully healthy this coming off-season program. Let's clap it up for RG, not RG,
Not you.
who's swinging his thing.
Not
Randy
you.
Gregory.
Oh.
We've got good news. Tim Patrick expected to be 100% for the season. Boom. And help me with this one.
Oh, God.
Javonte Williams, healthy?
No.
Question. Oh, okay.
Not as of now.
Take backs and claps.
The best we got was, he's jogging. It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Well,
also said-
Henry and I were kind of talking about this. George, I don't think George really knows exactly where Javonte, and that's fair.
no, it's not.
It's not fair.
I expect George to know, honestly, like exactly how healthy Javonte is.
I mean, he said he's jogging now, but there was that other line in there where, like, he finished it by saying they think he's going to be ready for the start of the season.
And then didn't he also say, like, yeah, he's on track to be ready for the season, but then also sandwiched it in with, like, I don't want to put dates on when he's going to be back and stuff. I would be shocked if he's healthy for the start of the season. And honestly, I would be, unless he's like 100%, I'd be disappointed if he's playing week 1 just because of how bad his injury was. I personally, and I'm not a doctor, but I personally don't think he's going to be able to recover that quick from how devastating this injury was. But George Paton seemed confident, or I shouldn't say confident, he seemed optimistic about it.
Optimistic, I think, is the right word. I just don't think he had any conviction in his optimism.
Here's the
fair.
Here's the full quote. I think he's on track. I don't want to put a date on it, but he's out there jogging. He's working his butt off. He's rehabbing. Javonte, they anticipate he would be ready for the start of the season. We'll have a plan. We'll have another back or two to be ready if he can't go. I am more optimistic now than I was before, certainly.
Yeah, there was nothing definitive in anything he said, though. And that's smart on his part, and I think he probably does. I said I want him to know exactly how healthy Javonte is. I think he does know exactly how healthy Javonte is, because that has to go into his draft prep.
It has to.
He has to be looking at this as, okay, is there a shot that we get back the real Javonte? If so, yeah, then maybe we wait until the 5th round to draft a guy. And he can go with Latavius for the first couple weeks. Hopefully we hit it out of the park. If not, we'll be waiting for Javonte to come fill in later.
Yeah, it's really true. And then he did add that the Broncos need to add a running back, and it's going to be interesting to see what capacity. Free agency, 5th round of the draft, 3rd round of the draft. The Pacheco, trade back into the later 7th of the round and get him.
The later 7th
of the round. Yeah,
They're breaking up rounds into 7ths.
That's why Pacheco is so good.
Yeah,
because they got him in the later the 7th.
Crazy thing is 8ths, and you could just, it's like 32 is divisible.
Used to happen. What else he said the Broncos need help with? Whatever round. He said, quote, we need to upgrade at the offensive line.
Yeah.
George, you know how you do this? You put resources into that.
They don't have that many resources.
Draft picks, something they haven't done since Garrett Bowles was drafted.
At least at the tackle position, they have not. And he also said they expect Garrett Bowles to be healthy.
Yep.
For the season, which I didn't think was in question.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Which actually, might sow doubt a little bit that it was even mentioned.
I think they said it was Randy. They said he's going to be ready for the off-season workout.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
That wasn't Garrett.
Yeah, they do. They need to upgrade on the offensive line. I appreciate that George Paton said that unequivocally, and it tells me that they might, for the first time, actually be on the same page as us.
Yeah.
And basically every fan, which is this is priority number one. If you're going to, I guess if you're going to improve with Russell Wilson, you got to start by improving the protection in front of him. The weapons should be good enough. We can debate whether they are or not, but you certainly have invested enough into those weapons that they should be good enough. And the one place where you have not invested enough is the offensive line. You've invested in the quarterback. You've invested in the running backs. So now you got to get that part right. You just have to. And whether that's going to be with your first third-round pick, which, at least should have a chance of being a solid contributor, or if it's going to be with the cap space that you have, which would certainly make me feel a little more comfortable considering that there are some good options out there. But regardless, I like that he knows, and I like that he essentially admitted and made it a priority.
Yeah, completely agree, and that's clearly going to be a big focus. You okay?
Let me put it back.
Keep it tight.
Keep it tight.
Oh, you're letting a little plastic float around?
Ever since it got pointed out, it's itchy.
Just flopped out.
Wow.
Yeah, flop. What do we do for a flop?
Hopefully there's no offensive linemen flopping this year because they upgrade them to be better.
Or they're flopping to get hands to the face calls. I'm in on that.
Yeah, that would be good. Jerry Jeudy, he was asked about picking up his fifth-year option. And George Paton, non-committal is the word. He said, well, we have until May to pick that up, but we're really happy with where Jerry's at. And, he also mentioned how he really liked the end of Jerry's season last year. That sit weird with you guys?
To me, it was one of those things where he's not going to say, we're picking up the option without talking to Sean first. He doesn't want a situation where Sean will say, hey, you just made this call without me? What's that all about? And so I think it was just one of those things where he was not going to say it, but I also think it's very clear that you do it. I don't think there's any doubt that he's going to do it.
Zooming out a little bit, you don't think they've talked about that?
I don't think there's been a reason to. I bet it's come up in passing, where it's eventually,
passing.
We do have to do that this offseason, but I don't think there's been, a conversation, It
seems... it's
that's more of an us conversation than a them conversation, I feel like.
How many conversations have they had? Do they talk every day?
They should. Although we found out this morning was their first combine coffee they've ever had together, which
makes
also
sense.
makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
Not our first combine coffees.
It's true. It's true.
Well, mine. This literally.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was actually our first.
Yeah. Wow, maybe I should save this a little bit and put it in the freezer or something.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Our friend Brandon Cristal showing Ryan that his team is losing.
He's a Fulham fan. I'm not watching the game, but I've been told by my people on the ground that we had a goal that was called off in bullshit fashion.
Oh.
Brandon seemed to agree with that, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
No. Drama.
I hate when my team loses because of the refs.
Oh, boy. Here we go with the refs again.
Hey, I saw, got some email. I don't remember from who or else I'd credit them, but they said that Colorado has the third most tweets about the NFL being scripted, and I think we can blame you on that,
That's
Ryan.
kind of dope.
No, that's the worst quality you can have. That's just whiny.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it because I can't say that. Give myself all the credit.
Yeah.
But I saw that email. I was like, I have real influence in this life.
Wow. What happened to the whole, we don't blame the refs thing? That
I've
used to
never
be
done that. Yeah.
That's like it's a noble stance. It's what everybody agreed on.
Me.
Yeah,
Yep,
me too.
yep.
You don't blame the refs.
Remember when Domata Peko
You have to be better.
had that penalty? Everyone hated me, but I stood my ground.
Yeah, it's a weird take.
It's not.
It's just like it's ignoring a part of the game. The refs can fuck you sometimes.
Wow, earmuffs.
And it's okay to be like, yeah, the refs fucked us.
Again.
All-time earmuffs.
Would not be okay with
there
me
we go.
if the refs fucked us.
Jesus. My
I'd actually be
goodness.
super against it. But whatever,
okay,
that's on the table.
One more thing.
It's about the refs fucking us.
It's not.
Sorry.
It's
Too
not.
far.
It's not about either
All-time
of those
earmuffs now.
things. Well, could it be?
What if I cursed so loud that it got picked up on the KOA
I was literally
airwaves
thinking
and
that.
I got fined for it?
They were like Ryan Edwards did have to pick up his phone and walk away for a second. Maybe if I was a call from the bosses. Can you tell him to shut the hell up? Russell Wilson. It seems like anytime he gets brought up around Sean Payton, Sean likes to
Deflect.
say like something about him and then move on right away. We're talking about the quarterback of the day, and it's not like we haven't talked about other players. You know, when some other players get brought up, he talks about him. He talks about situation. He mentions Russ and moves on, and he did that again today.
It's really weird. Really, really weird. Now, I mean, I think we can all gather what's happening there. Like, that part's not a secret, and so it's not like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Sean Payton is not going to hitch his wagon to Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to do it, and it certainly makes sense if you watched Russell Wilson play last year, but it is weird. And the weirdest one, you have to go back and watch his interview with Pat McAfee from the Super Bowl, because Pat McAfee was not letting him leave that stage until he made his intentions clear or made his feelings about Russell Wilson clear, and Sean Payton did not want to do it, and it was really awkward. But literally at one point, McAfee's like, so do you love him? And he's like, yeah, you know, or he's just like, Russ is this, Russ is that, and he doesn't answer. He's like, no, do you love Russell Wilson? And finally he's like, yeah, I love him. But like, he had to be like held down and forced to say it. He doesn't, at least not at this point.
Yeah, no, and when asked about him having dinner, he was like, yeah, we had dinner with Joe Montana.
And he's done that multiple times now.
And, you know, we both wanted to talk to Joe and pick his brain. I could really see Russ loving that conversation with Joe, and so was I. And it's like...
He didn't even say that. He said Russ wanted to talk about the offense, and I wanted to talk to Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Man.
But again, what I think it is...
I mean, you ever been to a party where you're like, oh, man, I hope this girl's there, and then she's there, and then you are, like, trying to talk to her, but she's clearly trying to talk to some other guy?
Every weekend, man. Why do you got to bring this up?
Every weekend, what, 14 years ago, the last time you were single?
Unless the refs are there. They'd be into
it. I mean, that's what it sounds like. That's what that interaction
You're done,
sounds
Henry.
like.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, hey, Sean. So like, what do you what do you think about the way that we did this concept last year? And Sean's like, one second, Joe.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 80s.
Yeah. It's or just like he
What
thinks
is it, The Catch?
it's like you're looking at him.
Is that the Joe Montana one?
Wow, that you just Sean Payton, Russell Wilson me right there.
I did. I looked right through you to Henry.
We've got
Can you unmute Henry?
Brandon Perna in the chat.
Oh.
He said the show is scripted.
Oh, it is. How do you know?
That's rich coming from him.
Henry, the chat was
There
already
we
asking
go.
to find you because you were in the chat.
I was not in the chat today.
You were in the chat?
Yesterday. I don't even know how.
Someone said just fire him. He's not even paying
Henry.
attention.
Okay.
Henry.
They hate when Henry looks at his laptop.
Okay, so let's see. This
I
was
hate it too.
Wow. Why don't you tell him this?
pause. Going
We
back
yelled
to
at him last week when he was on his
let
Henry,
laptop.
when you lean
I don't
like
have
that,
to.
you're not in the shot.
I'm going to
There you
Sean
go.
Payton.
we don't have a monitor. What are we?
Well,
The
I'm telling you.
freaking high school chat
You're
club?
about to get muted again. I can
Going
tell.
back to the thing, though,
school
I think
chat
what Sean
club.
Payton is doing, like, if I were to take over the Broncos head coach, I would think, like, okay, how do I succeed here? Step one, put Russell Wilson in his place. Like, you take the office. You don't give him special treatment. You make sure he knows he's one of those guys. And that means whenever somebody comes up to you and says, like, hey, sure was nice being able to, like, hang out with Russ, right? And it's like, we Joe Montana was there. He just happened to be there. We got dinner together. This was not a meeting. We were not having this conversation.
I hadn't considered the thought that he doesn't want the players to feel like, how come I didn't get a dinner with Sean Payton?
I think he doesn't want Russell Wilson feeling that way. I think he literally wants to put Russell Wilson in his place. And that doesn't mean like,
Make him earn
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
He's already done that, though. He's already put him in his place by taking his office away, making it clear his people aren't going to be in the building. Again, today he was asked about his team being in the building, and he shot that down. Again, said a lot was made of that. Well, yeah, it is, because you're talking about Russell Wilson, but he just had the opportunity to say nice things about him, and he's
going to make him earn it.
It's not like he's gone crazy. But it's not like he hasn't gone crazy. He hasn't said anything.
I haven't even heard him like talk about the good things that Russ does once. I don't think.
No, so I think he's really taken it to that extent. Maybe it is to just really. Put him in
so.
place.
I think of it this way though: if you're a franchise quarterback and the new coach gets hired, so let's just pick out a franchise quarterback right now. I don't know.
Leave the AFC West.
I'm just trying to think of one with a new coach, but it's kind of hard to.
Trevor Lawrence last year.
Okay, yeah, Trevor Lawrence. He is the franchise, right? And that's clear. Even though he at that point wasn't necessarily living up to the hype, you go out to dinner with the new coach.
Right.
You for sure do.
Yep.
Let's just say, like, for whatever reason, Andy Reid retires. The new coach comes to Kansas City. They're having dinner with Patrick Mahomes. If you're not the franchise quarterback, I don't think you get the coach dinner. And so I almost wonder if that's what like Sean Payton is trying to push back on here. Is like, oh, we didn't have the like franchise quarterback coach dinner. We just happened to run into each other at a restaurant. Joe Montana was there too. Like, it was a who's who.
Right.
The three of us all just happened to be there. And I think there might be something to that. But I also think Henry kind of just opened my eyes, and you didn't necessarily mean it in this way. But I think there might be a little thing here where like the players certainly did not love that Russ was getting special treatment last year, especially when he didn't back it up on the field. And I just wonder if Sean Payton doesn't want the players thinking like, oh, here we go again, another coach. He's having dinner with Russ already.
Right.
Like, he's more just trying to say like, yep, Russell's just another one of the players. And at this point, that's all he is. And so he has to earn franchise quarterback status, re-earn that with the Broncos.
And I don't think he wants Russ thinking that Russ is going to be able to say, hey, here's what I want to do on offense, and that's what's going to happen. So when Russ says, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Sean just says, Joe, how's it going? Like, that was pretty sick. Remember when Dwight Clark made the catch? Yeah. Like, he's not letting Russell Wilson have that sort of influence, and I don't think he wants that to be misconstrued as he is letting him have that influence.
I think it's what I really think is what Ryan said earlier. It's that he doesn't want to attach his wagon to it. And also, look at what happened to Nathaniel Hackett. I know Sean Payton has a lot more going for him than Hackett did when he took this job, and a lot more background experience, but Hackett was attached to Russ. Russ failed, and Hackett was fired right away.
Yep.
And obviously Sean has a longer leash than that. But, yeah, I think it's so that in a year from now, people aren't turning on him and saying, you said you're easily going to be able to turn him out. You said last year was just a total blip in the road. It would be so easy for Sean to say last year was
Desai, but
I thought about that earlier. Someone
new
said
coordinator of the Eagles, by the way.
Yeah.
But it would have been so easy for him to say him, not Sean, for him to say that I totally lost where I was going.
No.
Good point was coming, though.
I feel like I get a point for that because I tripped you up.
Yeah, you did. You really did. We just got a notification telling us to go faster.
All right.
Move the show along. So I got to tell you about our friends over at Game Time, because wherever you are in the country, check out our friends over at Game Time to get yourself tickets to sporting events, concerts, anywhere you want to go. You want to see the Nuggets on their way to the playoffs. The 1 seed, you can do that. Avs, you can do that as well. And tickets are the best over at Game Time. They've got flash deals, and one of the things that's awesome about Game Time, you can include fees and taxes and just see. So you're not like shocked when you get to the end and you're like, wow, these tickets are twice the price of what I thought. No, they're going to tell you all up front. Just make sure to click the all-in ticket. So check them out. Game Time, we've got a link in our description if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're listening on the podcast side, just click that and it'll take you right there. That's it.
That is it.
That's it.
Looking at me like I know what's up.
I wasn't. I was just looking at you. I would never expect you to
You
know
did
what's
this.
up.
He was looking past you, through you. He was making sure
There's
your mic
nothing
was
behind
still
me.
on.
Oh,
You
you
haven't been muted.
staring down that Raiders helmet? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah,
In love with
I
the
am.
Raiders helmet? Trying to push a narrative.
We have a high school helmet in our.
Oh, a soccer thing happened.
Yeah, we're down 2-0.
Jeez.
Oh, nil. Somebody has nil. You're kidding.
I'm happy for you, BK.
Soccer.
Yeah. Okay,
doesn't care
questions.
as much
Let's
as
talk
me.
to the people, shall we?
Yeah, let's talk.
Super chats?
Let's chat.
Yes, we
Let's super
have
chat.
I hope-
super chat.
People were really fired up about all our side conversations.
Want to talk about the Indy cars? We still haven't gotten through my list.
Jeez, Allie,
have-
just
7 minutes.
We have so
Okay,
much
we've
left
got
on my
2
list.
super chats here.
Okay, let's hit
Watch
'em.
me squatch. Says Sean P said the media scared away Fangio. Way to go, us, JK.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's weird because it was the opposite of the reaction to the.
Ryan
Really
just
shocked
lost
me.
it.
That's a-
You got me. Point to BK. Point to BK.
That's a hell of a kick. Gotta give him that. Hell of a kick. Hell of a kick.
Remember when I was talking about testing the waters, and they threw the
Yep,
Vance
yep,
Joseph
yep.
tidbit out there, and
Yep.
like the reaction could have been more negative. So if anyone would have been scared away by the media and the fans, it would have been Vance Joseph. When they threw out the Vic Fangio breadcrumb, it was nothing but positivity.
Right.
I mean, I
So-
was negative about it. I don't think I was going. I think there were plenty of people who said like, "Oh no."
you were wrong. Everyone else was hyped for it.
I think there were some
You were
other people.
wrong.
I think there were other people who said like Vic Fangio, no, like you don't bring him back. I think that it flipped eventually. It did flip eventually, and I also
I don't
think that
there were.
I think we can go back. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I think there were a lot of us who were like, come on, that's kind of like a weird thing. Like, could you even do it? But I think that the bigger picture is that it wasn't because of the actual tweets that were sent or the articles that were written or what was on the podcast. It was because Vic Fangio just knew that he was just there. Like, I don't think it was the direct that. It was like more so the bigger picture, like, I'm not coming back right there. It's awkward.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't
Yeah.
about what happened this month. It was about what happened 13 months ago. But also, it wasn't
that's
us.
Probably where the switch flipped for Sean Payton towards the Denver media.
Oh yeah, when he couldn't get Vic.
If he feels like we are somewhat responsible for his inability to get Vic Fangio to come here, that's probably when he was like, Vic was like, yeah, they were rough on me there. I don't know if I want to go back.
Yeah,
And he's like, all right, screw these guys.
he's like, well, I've already signed my contract there,
Yeah.
so I guess I'm going there.
Yep. So yeah, I guess it's our fault.
Good point though, brought up.
Okay, next question. Recurt. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. He said, I like the normal pods, but the pods on the road are somehow on another level. Any news on trading for players for picks?
Great question. George Paton was asked about this, and he made it very clear that they're willing to wheel and deal. Said it's, did he say it's easier or harder to do it on draft day?
Easier.
Easier.
Especially
it's
to go down.
easier to do it on draft day, and they want more picks, need more picks. So we'll see how much they start wheeling dealing anytime soon.
And you mentioned this earlier, but he also said like that's the sweet spot. The sweet spot is
Hey, we'll
to
get it
get
set
right there
up.
at the
You
top
can
of the
hop on.
third.
Yeah.
Jump on.
Definitely.
Let's go,
It's kind of a hot take to say though, like number 5 pick, F it. Number 68 though, that's what we want. Good call.
We've talked
we
about
gotta scoot over.
friend
We do have to
of-
scoot over.
We only have like 5 minutes
There we
left,
go.
so we're ending with a bang here.
Oh yeah,
With our guy James Palmer.
Guys,
Big
Oh,
time.
already live on the
James
mic.
Palmer.
there we go.
Let's go, baby.
What's
we've
up,
been doing
dude?
hits all day. Oh my God, what a busy day! What a great day! Oh, it's
I
incredible.
like that Philadelphia Eagles tie you got
Is that
going
what that
on.
is?
Oh, come on.
You're not the only one who said
Go
it.
for it.
Howie said the same thing. Howie liked it too. Listen, Jalen Hurts, man, what are you talking about? He could have won MVP in the Super Bowl
Yep.
and lost,
Yep.
and I don't think anybody would have went crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
No?
Just
good
unreal.
take.
I hosted the NFL 101 Awards on Saturday night in Kansas City, where they honor the best players and coaches in the league. And I was doing an interview on stage with Andy Reid, and Andy Reid just stops it in the middle and he just points at Jalen Hurts, who was in there because he won NFC Player of the Year, and he goes, "One of the greatest performances I've ever seen, man. Just one
Wow.
of the greatest performances I've ever seen." He goes, "All right, James, you can go back to interviewing me." But he just wanted to say it like in the middle of the thing.
That's
It was
incredible.
Awesome. It was awesome.
We were just talking about the potential of the Broncos trading players for picks this offseason. Do you think that's potentially in the cards for them?
Who are they trading? What players? I feel like they're short on players and picks.
That's a bad place to be.
I mean, it's not where you really want to be.
Cortland Sutton could be a potential trade candidate.
Garrett Bowles
could be a potential trade
Maybe
candidate.
Justin Simmons if they got really crazy, but that would be a surprise.
That'd
be a lot of picks, though.
That would be a lot of picks. That would be a surprise. I do think there's two things that we should pay attention to moving forward right now with the Broncos, and I think one of the biggest things, obviously, is how Sean operates, and I want your guys' opinion on what you thought of Sean this morning. Like, what did you love? What did you hate? Did you get anything answered?
He's in control of everything, not just within the facility, but leading the press conference.
He made George wait on the side. He said, "Oh man, I'm holding George up. I'll take 4 more," or something like that. And I was like, "Whoa, Sean, man!"
You get the PR person coming in saying 2 more questions. He looks at. No, we got time for more questions.
Started early too.
Full control.
Yep,
he's in full control.
He is.
I don't know. To me, I don't know if you guys talked. Like, I don't see Javonte Williams being ready for the start of the season.
No.
I thought that was an insane proclamation by George Paton. But if it's true, that is
huge,
unreal.
Yep.
And the Tim Patrick part, I think, is maybe, if you don't live in Denver, the most underrated player that impacted the way the season went last year. He left Denver, so we can say it. Zach Azzani thinks he's the best receiver in the room.
Wow.
He thinks he's the best football player in their whole wide receiver room.
Yeah.
If that doesn't show you what they lost with him during training camp, I think that's a massive part that nobody's really paying attention to. And the last part I'll say is this. I think we all should remember, I think Pete Carroll was right. About Russ.
I mean,
needing to be put in a system and built with the running game first and defense, and that's how he operates.
And the control stuff, too.
This sounds crazy, but if you're a Broncos fan, go watch Danny Canales in his press conference with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's their new offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Right? He's been in Seattle for 13 years. He's been there with multiple offensive coordinators they've had through the reigns. He said something to me that I thought was very interesting. He didn't say it to me. He said I thought it was interesting. He said in the press conference, he goes, I learned from Darrell Bevell how to create a winner. I learned from Shane Waldron how to create a winner. All of these things of how to make Russ a winner, the style that we played with and how we put it together to be a winner. Then he says, and then we got Geno, and we were able to open up the passing tack a little more. We were able to open up the passing game a little more, open up the playbook a little more. I'm like, oh, so that's what you thought. And it's not a slight to Russ. I think no, it's not, because we misuse the word, Ryan, limit, I think, too incorrectly. Because in 2017, Sean limited Drew Brees and what he wanted him to do, and they were unstoppable as an offense. When you say limit, it's like, no, I just want you to do these things.
Because that's what you're good at.
Because that's what you're really good at.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we saw from Pete, and I think that's what we've seen from Sean in the past. And I think if you read the tea leaves, that's what Sean has kind of hinted at so far.
Last thing, and then we'll probably wrap the show from here, or do we have more Super Chats we need to get to? Okay. Sean Payton pretty much refuses to say anything about Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. What do you read into that?
I think he doesn't want to tip his hand, because I know the people that worked with him at Fox all this year, he really wouldn't say anything about Russell Wilson. I think he's waiting to decide what he wants and how he wants it to go. I know for a fact he has some things in mind that he goes, I think this is going to work. I think this is not going to work. We're not going to do this anymore, but I think we're going to lean on this. But I don't think he's saying anything because he wants to go out and do it. I think one of the things that Denver's going to learn is, and Mike Westhoff said this about him, and he's been around great quarterbacks and great coaches forever. He said Sean is the best on-the-field teacher I've ever seen in terms of teaching on the field in practice.
Wow.
That's when we're going to start seeing him and what he wants to do with Russ.
All right.
Yep.
Love
That was
it.
some great. I mean,
that was
you
great.
came in,
Yes.
you dropped bombs, and now
Dude,
you're
I
out.
saw you guys all the way in the back, and I'm like, what's going on? Why are these guys all the way in the back
It's the
here?
tall sign.
Oh, is that why you guys are too high?
No,
also
they,
been
they
really
wanted to put
loud.
us in a
That's
corner because we're too loud.
We've been
caused
very
too
loud
much
today.
commotion,
Yeah.
too many F-bombs.
Dang, I dig it.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of
I think they're
F-bombs?
gonna have
Yeah.
to move KOA because they're just picking up our
I know.
F-bombs on their mic.
You guys are F-bombing
Gonna get
around
an
here?
invoice.
We're slinging them.
Man, I'd like to swing darts out here. Love it.
All right,
Yeah,
we
that's
are
awesome.
going to wrap there from the NFL Combine. We will be back tomorrow morning after a long night. You thought today was weird. It's going to get even more weird tomorrow.
Very
When
true.
When did you guys go to bed last night?
3.
3.
3:30.
Yep.
Yep.
President, see you.
We'll see you tonight.
We had a great table last night.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie. It was Foxy.
Here we go.
It was Mike McDaniel. It was Lou Anarimo, and me and my buddy Bert from Sports Illustrated, Albert Breer. It was
Wow.
a great
Wow.
table. It was a great
We're
table.
going to top it tonight.
Foxy is the Pied Piper of this combine. He started Prime 47 back when it was
Oh.
movies.
Really?
Wow.
And
The
listen,
guy.
if you ask him, he'll tell you.
I'm sure you will.
He will.
All right, we are going to catch you guys tomorrow.